Hi, I'm Joanna Fortune. I am a psychotherapist and author of the 15-Minute Parenting series. Social Care Ireland asked me to make some videos that would be of support to social care workers in the very important work that you're all doing. This video is going to focus on working with frustration and boredom, two feelings that are running high in our current situation. Before I get into the techniques, I did want to say a couple of words about boredom and the many pro-social benefits that there are to time spent in a free-floating state of attention like boredom, which will allow creativity and desire to emerge. In our constantly on-the-go, busy, frenetic lifestyles, being bored is a privilege that we rarely get to experience. That being said, I fully appreciate that having a number of residents cooped up together, all feeling bored at once at the same time, is a hotbed for frustrations to emerge and bubble over. So I'm going to show you some techniques for working with frustration and focused on lowering those frustration levels. What you're going to need is a toilet roll. Very simple, just a toilet roll. Invite the young person or your client to simply hold out their hands together like this. And what you're going to do is bind their hands together with your toilet roll. Just over and over a number of times. Not too tight, but you do want it to stay there, so you don't want to make it too loose either. Okay? And then, there we go. And then you're just going to tuck in this little bit here. And how you work on the frustration piece is they must wait, 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 while you give them the cue to bust out. So you have them wait, 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 bust out! And they explode out of the toilet paper, giving you all of these strands. So you could do that a couple of times. You can do arms like I just did there. You could also bind from knees down to ankles. You could have them stand with their arms down by their side and bind from shoulders down to hips. You could repeat it and end up with lots and lots of bits of toilet roll. Now that I have those, I'm going to invite you to take your hand into a chopper. You hold out the strands, maybe 4 or 5 deep, of toilet paper, and again on your cue, they are going to chop when you say karate chop. Karate chop. Very good. Karate chop. And you repeat it until you have a whole stack of toilet paper squares. And not to waste your valuable resource of toilet paper, take each square. You could do this between you. It's actually very calming to make a whole bunch of toilet roll balls. You roll each square into a ball. And then when you have a whole pile of them, and this is one that's great for more the merrier, so it could be you and one client, it could be a couple of staff, a couple of clients together, is everybody holds a bunch of paper balls, and on your cue, when you say green light, you're going to have a big snowball fight. When you say red light, everybody must freeze. Green light. And you just pelt each other with snowballs. Red light. Green light. And you have fun and a good laugh with that. But what you're doing is structuring it by saying green light and red light. So go, 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 stop. Go, 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 stop. It's about impulse control and lowering frustrations. It also prevents the collective energy level from getting too high where it might bubble over, and is working on extending that window of tolerance. That regulatory roller coaster. We go up and we come down. We go up and we come down. And that is actually how you lower frustration. Another thing that I like to use is something that I started to call my boredom buster. When a young person comes to you and they whine or they say, I'm so bored, I've nothing to do, or they're just lounging around, take something quite simple that you can make with a piece of paper and some markers. You might remember these from school, paper fortune tellers. And as soon as you hear bored, you say, okay, we're handing it over to the boredom buster. You pick up your fortune teller, you invite them to pick a colour. They pick red, you spell it out, or ED, and then they pick a number. They pick 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, another number, 8. This time you lift up 8, and whatever is written underneath, they now have to do. This one says 15 minutes of exercise. So for the next 15 minutes, they have to exercise. Equally, it could say 15 minutes of cleaning. It could say 15 minutes of gardening, 15 minutes of play. Donate 15 items from your wardrobe that you no longer wear. You could put anything you like in here. It could be something else entirely. It could be something very tailored and focused on the needs of the young person that you're key working or working with. So it's a simple boredom buster. And I think it's a way that if you repeat it, they're really taking a chance that it could be something really good and fun, like 15 minutes of play, or something not so fun, like 15 minutes of cleaning. They're less likely to come to you with their boredom and more likely to find something to do themselves. A final technique that I have found really effective when somebody is feeling understimulated, maybe hypo-regulated, so in that more kind of iceberg, low energy state, is to take a blank sheet of paper and a pen. You're simply going to write the first line of a story. I always start with once upon a time because I think once upon a time gives permission for anything to happen. Once upon a time, you write one line and the beginning of the second line. You then fold down the first line, and the other person only sees the very beginning of the second line, which they must now continue and finish. Begin a third line, fold down the second line, hand it back to you. There's reciprocity in that over and back. There's also tolerance, that they have to wait for you to write yours and hand it back. They also have to respond to the cues that you're putting into your line without having control of where the story's going. You keep going and roll it down, and whoever gets to the end of the page ends the story with the words, "the end." You then unroll it and read out the story together. So you see, where were you in sync, where were you out of sync. This is a really good one for engagement and prolonged engagement, because you're going to work your way down the full page. It's about creativity, imagination, turn-taking, solution-focused thinking. There's a whole lot going on here with just a sheet of paper and a pen. So I hope that's given you a number of ways that you can respond to frustration and boredom. And remember, a little boredom does nobody any harm at all.